Hello all, welcome to our channel techlteworld. So today we'll be discussing about a very important topic in LT, that is DRX, which stands for Discontinuous Reception. Okay, so let us begin. So before we go into in detail about what is a DRX procedure like and how it works, let us try to understand in layman terms, okay, about how this DRX feature is very crucial in LTE. Okay, so the use of this DRX, if you want to understand, let us take a very daily life example. Okay, so let's say there are two friends. Okay, there is two friends, Ram and Rahul. Okay, there's two friends, Ram and Rahul. Okay, so both of them has planned to meet each other. Okay, but let's say Ram has not assigned anything any time to Rahul. Okay, that when he will come, and he goes to his house, but at that time, let's say Rahul was not present. Okay, let's say Rahul was not present, so it means that Ram will not be able to meet Rahul, and he went back, right? And the similar way, Rahul has decided to meet Ram, but Rahul, in the same fashion, he have not assigned any time or any place to Ram, and he went directly to meet him. Okay, in his home, but at the time Ram was not present there. So in the same fashion, Rahul will also not able to meet Ram, right? So there is an issue of desynchronization, like there is no synchronization between Ram and Rahul, right? So this same issue can be occur in the in the UE as well, right? In the UE as well, in the UE and the network LT network as well, right? So what can happen that, let's say UE E not be, right? E not be a network, right? So let's say as we know that UE whenever it doesn't receive any data, right? It is in sleep mode, let's say, right? Let's say now UE is in sleep mode continuously, right? Even network is transmitting some data through E node B. Okay, UE is not getting on, UE is not receiving it, right? So this is a worst case, right? That network is sending something, but UE is not able to receive that. This is the worst case, right? So same thing which is happening in case of Ram and Rahul, same thing is happening in network as well, right? If you are able to if you are able to correlate with it, right? So this issue can be resolved by DRX. Okay, DRX. How I will explain it. Also, second worst scenario is that let's say let us take example of Ram and Rahul only. Let's say Ram and Rahul are always meeting each other, like Ram is always available, right? Rahul wants to be, and Ram is always available, he is not doing his work, right? So it will so if Ram is always available for Rahul, right, for to meet him and to and they are always like going out with each other, but uh, this will affect his work, right? Let's say he is doing work in some multinational company, and he's skipping his work and he's going outside with Rahul to hang out, right? So this can affect the work of Ram, right? So this is also a worst scenario. Same thing if in UE, let's say UE remains on for all the time, right? Though no matter it is not receiving any data through network, through network, it is always be on, right? It is always on. So this is also this will basically affect the UE's battery, right? So this is also a worst case. Okay, so this both worst scenario, right? That what is the first worst scenario I've told, that UE does not receive data, right? And second worst scenario is UE remains on for all time, right? This is the second worst scenario. So in both the case, it will affect the functioning of the network only, right? Network and the UE, right? So how does DRX help actually? What will happen that DRX, with the help of DRX, network will assign some parameters. Okay, it will assign some parameters. And we can say it's a kind of timetable. Okay, which network will assign to the UE, telling UE that you should remain on for a particular period. Okay, and once you are not receiving anything from the network, or there is no need of transmission from your side, you can go in sleep mode, right? So this same thing you can apply in this example also. Like Rahul, if let's say Ram and Rahul want to meet each other without any like mismatch, what it can happen, Ram can basically tells Rahul, okay, I'll be coming to meet you at this particular time and in this particular place. Okay, so in this way there will be no mismatch, or there is no desynchronization, and Ram and Rahul can meet each other, right? That's the thing. Now same thing as I told, like it can be applied for the DRX as well, right? So hope this thing is clear, like how DRX is solving the issue, right? In the layman term, we hope you all got it, right? Now let us take an example of now not an example, let us try to understand there are some parameters which are actually necessary to understand the functioning of DRX. Okay, so the first parameter is the DRX cycle. Okay, so what is this DRX cycle? So if you see this pictorial diagram, the combination of on period, right, and off period, right, only make the DRX cycle, right? So the combination of on time plus off time is only called as DRX cycle. Okay, and what is this on duration timer? This on duration timer is nothing but it's the on period in a particular DRX cycle. So this is a DRX cycle, and this is the on duration timer of the UE, right? For this particular period, UE is on. Okay, so this is called the on duration timer. Now next thing is the DRX inactivity timer. Okay, so what is this DRX inactivity timer? Okay, so this timer basically helps the UE that, let's say UE during its on period, it has received some data. Okay, it's some PDCCH data. It has received some PDCCH downlink data from network, right? Now as soon as it receives this PDCCH information, in the next instant, what it will do, it will basically on this DRX inactivity timer as long as it is receiving the data, right? As long as it is receiving the PDCCH data, it will basically on this DRX inactivity timer. This DRX inactivity timer will be on, right? And once this UE stops receiving data, DRX inactivity timer can be off. After that, means DRX inactivity timer will be assigned some value, let's say 2 millisecond or 4 millisecond, right? So after that timer value, this DRX inactivity timer will be off, right? So this is the thing. And sometime what can happen, that this DRX inactivity timer can extend the on state also, right? In this way you can say that, because as long as UE is receiving the data, it is data, like for that particular data, like, and means you can say that as long as DRX inactivity timer is on, UE is on, right? So it means that DRX inactivity timer can extend the on state of the UE as well, right? The next parameter is the short DRX cycle. So what does this short DRX cycle means? In order to understand short DRX cycle, means here if you see, like the definition of this short DRX cycle is that DRX cycle which can be implemented within the off period of a long DRX cycle. It means that there is a long DRX cycle as well, and within that long DRX cycle, a short DRX cycle can be implemented, which means this long DRX cycle is absolutely of larger duration. Okay, and within that larger duration, a short DRX cycle can also be implemented, means it has a smaller duration, right? And what does this DRX short cycle timer means? It means that for how many times this short DRX cycle should repeat, right? So through this parameter we'll come to know, right? So in the definition, as I told, that's consecutive number of subframes, the UE shall follow the short DRX after the DRX inactivity timer has expired. Okay, so once that DRX inactivity timer has expired, what will happen? This short DRX cycle will start, and once this DRX short DRX cycle will start, for how many times it should repeat itself is only told by this DRX short cycle timer. Okay, hope you got this point. Now one of the important point which I need to mention about this particular message, okay, RRC connection reconfiguration and how it plays a role in DRX setting. Okay, so in this RRC connection reconfiguration, this message is actually sent by the network to the E node B, and E node B transmitted to UE. Okay, so in this particular message you can see that the parameters which are actually needed for DRX setting is actually included here, right? So you can see the on duration timer, DRX inactivity timer, DRX retransmission timer, long DRX cycle start offset, short DRX cycle, DRX short cycle timer. So all these parameters which are actually needed for the DRX is actually included here. Okay, so this is one of the important message which you need to remember, that interview might ask you that which is the message, okay, in which network tells the UE about different parameters which is needed for the DRX supportability. So this is none other than RRC connection reconfiguration. Okay, hope this point is clear. The next point is that UE tells the network, UE also tells the network, right, about its supportability for DRX, right? So it means that though DRX is very important parameter and it is needed for the energy saving related thing for UE, okay, but there can be a situation that some UE might not support it, right? So or there can be some parameters in DRX which a particular UE supports and some parameter doesn't support. So all this information will be sent in a message called UE capability information. Okay, so in this UE capability information, UE sends the network, UE sends this information to us inode B, and inode B transmit to the network. So if you see this UE capability information here, inside the feature group indicator, okay, these parameters are included. But it is short DRX cycle is supported, long DRX cycle is supported. Okay, it means that this particular UE supports both short DRX cycle as well as long DRX cycle. Okay, so there can be a situation that UE supports only short DRX cycle, or it can support only long DRX cycle. This information will also be transmitted here itself, right? So hope this point is also clear, that UE sends the supportability about DRX in a message called UE capability information towards the network through inode B. Okay. Now, if you see here, okay, if you see in this particular pictorial diagram, one of more important parameter which I need to introduce with you all is DRX Command Maxi. So what does this particular parameter means? Okay, so let us take this example. Okay, let's say UE was on, okay, and it has received some PDCCH information. Okay, once UE receives this PDCCH information, in the next instant it will start the DRX inactivity timer, right? So once this DRX inactivity timer will start, let's say after it receives first PDCCH information, from the next instant UE is not receiving anything. Okay, so inode B stops sending any PDCCH towards UE. Okay, so now it will be no use to let the DRX inactivity timer to go on, right? So there is no use. So what network will do, it will send a command called DRX Command Maxi from the MAC layer. So through the MAC layer, and basically tells the UE to stop this DRX inactivity timer as well as on duration of the timer. Okay, so by this help of this DRX Command Maxi, you can see in the above, both DRX inactivity timer and on duration timer will stop, right? So this is also a kind of saving the UE's battery, you can say, right? It's a more efficient way, right? Because if UE is not receiving anything, there is no use of let DRX inactivity timer or on timer to go on, right? So by the help of this DRX Command Maxi, okay, we can basically stop the DRX inactivity timer as well as on duration timer. Right? Hope this point is also clear. Finally, let us see the most important part of our video. From this particular pictorial diagram, I will let you know about what is the DRX procedure actually. Okay, so if you see in this column, okay, so in this column we have mentioned all the DRX parameter, okay, as long as what is the value of timer it can support. Like we have taken an example here, like it's not necessary that only this value it can take any value in the particular range it supports. Okay, we will be discussing here. Okay, so if you see this frame, okay, if you see this frame, as you know that UE and network inode B towards network, it basically sends, or it basically communicates in terms of frame, right? Frame. So if you see here, so this is the long DRX cycle. Okay, this is the long DRX cycle. Okay, so here if you see, the long DRX cycle is of 10 millisecond, right? So out of which for 2 millisecond it is on. You can see that on duration timer is 2 millisecond, right? This on duration timer is of 2 millisecond. So for this 2 millisecond, right, UE is on, okay, and for the rest of 8 millisecond it is off, right? It is off. So but if you see the range of this UE, the on duration timer is not necessary it should be only 2 millisecond. It can be anything between 1 to 200 millisecond. Okay, for the example point of view, I have taken the on duration timer as 2 millisecond, right? And also the long DRX cycle can also be anything between 10 to 2560 millisecond. Okay, for the example point of view, I have taken this particular value. Okay, so let's say UE didn't receive anything in this particular on long DRX cycle. So this after 10 millisecond it will stop. Once it stops, let's say here UE received one scheduling information. Okay, so once it's received this scheduling information, in the next instant DRX inactivity timer will start. Okay, will start. You can see the DRX inactivity timer is of value 4 millisecond. Okay, so it will continue till 4 millisecond. Okay, and also here also I will mention that the range of the DRX inactivity timer can be anything between 1 to 2560 millisecond. Okay, so here for example point of view I have taken 4 millisecond. Okay, so after 4 millisecond this DRX inactivity timer will be off, right? And then it will start the short duration timer, right? Short DRX cycle, sorry, you can say short DRX cycle. Okay, so short DRX cycles range is between 2 to 640 milliseconds. So here for example we have taken 5 millisecond, right? So for 2 millisecond it will be on, and for the rest 3 millisecond it will be off, right? And it will be off, right? And then this means and also it is very important that it is like to understand that as long after the after this short DRX cycle is ended, like let's say, okay, it has again started this short it has started the short DRX cycle. Okay, this it has started the short DRX cycle, okay, which is of again 5 millisecond duration, out of which 2 millisecond is of for the on period, okay, and 3 millisecond is of off period. Okay, and again and you can see that 2 times there is short DRX cycle. So you might think that why there is 2 times this short DRX cycle. Okay, so if you can see here, the DRX short cycle timer is of value 2. It means that the DRX it means that it should be 2 cross 5, right? That is 10 millisecond. Okay, so this entire period is of 10 millisecond. Okay, so hope you got the real understanding of what this DRX short cycle timer is, right? So it means that it is equal to 2. It means that after the expiry of this thing, once the DRX short cycle timer starts, it will basically replicate itself 2 times. Okay, so once it is ended, again the long DRX cycle will start. Okay, for like here 2 millisecond it will be on, and for the 8 millisecond it will be off. Okay, so this is how the DRX cycle works. Okay, also there is one more diagram where I will try to make you understand the same thing only, but here in terms of frame point of view, right? So you can see that DRX inactivity timer, right, subframe, you can say subframe level of view. Okay, so DRX inactivity timer, here you can see that is of 3 millisecond, on duration is of 2, short duration is of 5, long DRX cycle is of 10 millisecond, DRX started offset is 0, and DRX short cycle timer is 3. Okay, so if you see here, okay, here in the first subframe only it has received some data. Okay, so once it has received data, for the next 3 instant this DRX inactivity timer will be on, because you can see that the inactivity timer is of 3 millisecond, so it will basically go on for 3, right? And inactivity timer will be off. Okay, so again let's say now you can see that this is the DRX short on time. If you see here, the DRX short DRX cycle is of 5 millisecond, right? This is of 5 millisecond, right? So you can see here that the on duration timer, this is nothing but this is the on duration timer, right? So so on duration timer is of 2 millisecond, so it will be on for 2 millisecond, right? And for the rest 3 millisecond it will be it will be off, right? So this is a short DRX cycle where for 2 millisecond it is on, and for the rest 3 millisecond it is off, right? Again same thing, 2 millisecond it is on, for 3 millisecond is off, right? Yeah. So this is what in terms of subframe level. Okay, hope you got it, right? So this is how our DRX cycle DRX works, right? And there are these are the various parameters which this DRX supports, like DRX inactivity timer, on duration timer, short DRX cycle, okay, DRX start offsite, long DRX cycle, and DRX short cycle timer. So hope that's the end of our video on DRX, and hope this video was informative and you got to learn something from it. So we'll be coming up with more interesting videos, so keep supporting us, and please like our videos and share it. Thank you.